Hey, what's going on YouTube? And I'm going to bring you something you haven't seen in a while, which is a replay of a Shogun 2 Total War battle. And the reason is because the replays are corrupted, so they don't exactly play out like the game does. I'm not sure what they did that changed it because they used to work, but they don't now. But I watched this replay and another that I'm going to show you, and they weren't corrupted to the point where it changed the outcome of the game very substantially. Like, there's a small difference, but a very small difference indeed. So I'm going to show you these just to show you a couple of armies that I came up against. And these armies are becoming more common, it seems like. And that is basically people of very high rank bringing a crapload of soldiers to the battlefield. This particular one, now neither one of the builds I play are exactly the same. But let me put it in slow motion just so you can see the troops first. So we are playing on the Sanriku Ria map, and I'm trying to capture this sword dojo. The other buildings really weren't of interest to me. I've got a hidden contingent of 2 Katana Cav. They are veterans with a Naginata attendant over here, and the Naginata attendant is just in case I run into some monk or Yari Cav. I've got 2 Yari Cav. I've got I want to say 3 or 4 Naginata attendants. I've got 3 Naginata Samurai, Wako Raider, and my long Yuri Ashigaru. And then I'm sporting this this veteran Matchlock Warrior Monk. Nothing really special here, just improved accuracy and reload. So yeah, there's the old Patchter right here sporting the magical wings that float above his head. And then I've got a Yari Samurai supporting Patchy. So I have one special unit here that I want to show you that's moving up. This is my Whistling Pain Rain unit. You've seen this unit before, so nothing new there. Except if you look right there, it says, what is it? Resistance to Mirage Attack. So it's not going to say it when you look at them, which makes it even cooler. These guys have the sniping ability. It's a level 9, 20 token, or 20 clan token unlocked ability, which means that they can fire while hidden and remain hidden while firing. So they can fire, and unless a unit has a line of sight on them, then they cannot fire back. And you have to get pretty darn close. Like, even with a bow unit, they'd probably have to come within 100, whereas the range of that bow monk is 200. So my bow monks would get, and bow cab would have the same issue. So my bow monks would have a substantial advantage at being able to fire without being fired upon. The trick to that is you have to use them on a map where you know it's going to be able to be effective. Here, they were hidden from the beginning, and I'm able to get them into this forest where they should be able to fire out at units out here without any trouble. Now, I do make some pretty stupid mistakes in this match. I'll go over them with you here in a minute. My opponent's sporting 3 Matchlock units. He's got this Matchlock Warrior Monk with increased range, which cost him a ton. He's got this Matchlock Ashigaru in the center, and then a Matchlock Samurai over here. All of them are veterans, and he spent quite a lot of cash on Matchlock units. And then he's got a Bow Warrior Monk to give the range support that these Matchlock units need. So he's made some smart decisions, and basically his idea is he's going to scare me with all these Matchlocks and into making some kind of premature cav charge or something. He's got spears. A lot of players panic when they see this many Matchlocks, and it's understandable. So I've only got 1 Matchlock to his 3, and he's got some pretty darn good sword units backing him up. I didn't get a chance to play the Fugu Cook, but he's got 4 sword units with 17 attack, which is substantially higher than the attack of my Naginata Samurai. Let's see, he's got this Naginata Samurai in the back protecting his general. Smart move. A lot of players are doing that these days. And his Cav is a Yari Cav and a Katana Cav. There's their stats. This Yari Cav has some pretty substantially massive attack for a Yari Cav. He's put some clan token attack upgrades on those guys. So you're going to see my bows. My bows right now are about to start firing. His bows get off the first volley, but it doesn't do much because my guys are in the woods, and he's aimed at my Naginata attendants. But here's my bows sneaking into position. I didn't want my opponent to know that I had these, but of course all he's going to see on his screen is arrows magically appearing out of the forest and starting to kill his men. So from my screen, you're going to be able to see my guys firing, but from his screen, you won't be able to. Let's go into play. Now, I just made a huge, stupid mistake. Some of you might have noticed what it is. Some of you may not have. The mistake I made was firing at the Matchlock Ashigaru when I should have been firing at the Matchlock Warrior Monk because it's the one that cost the most Koku, and I should have killed it first. But I was worried about his Matchlocks having control in the center. What I should have done was just use my Matchlock Monks to blast his center, and then, yeah, I'm going to have to ignore this unit for the time being. But you can see that my bows are still hidden and firing at his Matchlock Ashigaru and getting some kills. My Matchlock Monks just opened up on his Matchlock Ashigaru, so I've substantially weakened his Matchlock Ashigaru very quickly. Notice that he also has rapid volley along with extended range, and he's going to open fire on my Wako Raiders back there. And he's going to get some pretty substantial kills. You can see the number of kills right here in the Matchlock Monks is up to about 30, just surpassed 30. So I'm going to have to pull my troops back, which is okay. I don't mind pulling them back, because then my guys will be able to hide in the woods, and it'll keep his men from being able to kill me. But he is going to get a substantial number of kills there, which kind of sucks for me. He also cut my Yari Cav off guard with a bow volley and killed a bunch of my Yari Cav. So I made some pretty bad mistakes early on. You can see that I've now finished with his Matchlock Ashigaru, and I'm targeting his Matchlock Monk unit. But this building is giving them a little bit of cover from my bows. Now eventually my bows become visible as his men get closer, and I accidentally move them a little too far forward. But right now, I don't know if he's even noticed the fact that mysterious arrows are coming out of the woods. Like, I'm sure he may have, but there's really nothing he can do about it. And most people probably aren't used to seeing a sniping bow monk. So here I ran my Naginata attendants forward just to push his matchlocks back. Gives my bows times to land more shots. For now, I've changed my targets to his bows. So here comes the flaming arrow volley into his bows. Get some nice splatter and burning there. So my bows are going to completely kill his without having a single shot fired back. Now my bows are finally visible. I finally moved them to where they're visible. I shouldn't have, but they're in the woods, so they're safe. But I basically accidentally made the mistake of moving them slightly outside the woods. Anyway, you can see that my bows are going to cut his down easily. His are busy firing at my bow monks, which are in the woods. He moves a little further forward here with his cav, trying to lure me forward. And what he's trying to do is lure me within the range to fight his cav, where they can be supported by his Matchlock warrior monks. And these guys are just kind of cleaning house on my Naginata attendants, which I don't really care. The Naginata attendants are fodder units. And then now I've retrained my bowfire back onto these guys, and I'm going to finish them off. Now here, he makes the mistake of charging into my cav. His cav is superior statistically, and he's got these Yari Ashigaru, but then he turned around at the last second and didn't get the charge. And then all I've got to do is just charge Patchy's Pain Patrol over here, which is a Naginata Samurai, and I'll be able to easily mop up this cav fight. So my opponent made a big mistake there. He also made a mistake here. His Matchlock Ashigaru charged forward for some reason, and I'm going to intercept and destroy them with my Naginata attendants. I'm guessing those Matchlock Ashigaru were targeted on one of my units that routed, and so they just kept running forward. Now, his Matchlock Samurai are moving forward, and I think I let my Matchlock Monks get killed by one of his units too. Anyway, so the fight's kind of beginning now. My opponent's going to have an advantage in the center, just because I don't have my best infantry in the center, and one of my units is engaged out here. But I'm going to have an advantage on this flank over here. So I use these sword attendants and everything. He makes a mistake. He lets these units get caught. My long Yari Ashigaru, everything's out there. And I'm going to win this flank, and I'm going to win this flank. But I'm going to be losing in the center. I had to run my bows away. He came after them with some swords. And so I'm going to use these units here in the center, these Yari Samurai and these Apaches of the Caribbean to fill in the gap. And they're going to do quite well holding. Anyway, like I said, you can see me out here winning on this flank pretty quickly. And then this was my secret. Here comes my Katana Cav. So these Wako Raiders were about to come over here and turn this flank to his favor, but they got intercepted by my Katana Cav and are getting absolutely massacred. Sword units don't stand a chance against Katana Cav. So you can see that my guys just absolutely ruined that Wako Raider unit, and now they're going to charge onward and hit these sword units in the back. And then they're going to charge one more time and hit these sword units in the back. So my Katana Cav came in and just absolutely wreaked havoc on the remainder of the enemy army. And that's the way I like to use my Katana Cav, is I like to hide it until my opponent has committed all of his spear troops to the battle and is no longer using them to protect his crucial key areas of his army. So that actually was that replay was not really that corrupted at all, so I was pretty happy with it. This other replay I'm going to show you, I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to be showing it to you the first time. So we'll see how corrupted it is. Hopefully not very much. I don't have the results screen, sorry, but we'll go ahead and load this other replay. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. So that battle was just kind of an introduction to my sniping bow monk. You can see that it was pretty handy there. It didn't take any return fire, and was able to clean out one of his Matchlock units and his bow monk unit and one of his Matchlock warrior monk units. And it did all that without taking a single loss to missile fire. The only losses that it took was when those swords charged in and I had to run away. So that's the advantage of the sniping bow monk. But again, you have to remember you can only use it real effectively when you have woods for cover, and so it does kind of dictate where you can deploy your army. But there are certain maps just like that one where it's going to work out. And this other battle I'm going to show you is another situation where it was a good map to use it, and I will show you how it turned out. Whether it's good or bad, you'll have to wait and see for yourself. So I was playing this member of the Russian Union. That last guy was in like the I don't know, it was like VM before his name. I don't remember. I'm sure you saw his name. I'm not sure what clan he was in, but he was a gold 9-star, the last player was, and this Russian Union player is a silver 10-star. And so you saw that that the gold star player in the last battle just brought a crap load of troops. And the idea is to like basically have the shock value of having a lot of infantry, a lot of matchlocks, still having some bow power, and basically counting on those extra Yari Ashigaru to help his not-so-strong Cav force. So a lot of people are bringing these massive armies just because with retainers and your general, you can boost the morale of not-so-great infantry units to the point where they are good. And so that's kind of the idea behind it. And matchlock units, some people I've heard them saying they're overpowered. They're really not. They've been nerfed back to the point where their reload, even though that guy was using rapid volley and stuff right there, you saw those matchlock monks. They did damage, but they weren't like insane or anything. I was able to kill them with my bows. So let me go into slow-mo. My army is very similar to the last one you saw, but slightly different. I've got, this time I've got 2 matchlock samurai. Neither one of these guys are veterans. You don't really need to bring veteran matchlocks for them to be effective, in my opinion. Now, I'm not going to say that you can't bring a veteran and it'll be effective, but you don't really have to bring like a veteran. So I've got 3 Naginata samurai, or Naginata attendants, 2 matchlock samurai, 3 Naginata samurai, 2 sword attendants. These guys make up a good flanking force, and I use them for such sometimes because their attack is high enough that you don't want them behind you. I've got 2 Yari Cav, and then I've got my Yari Samurai. I usually keep a Yari Samurai or my long Yari Ashigaru to guard Patchy or to reinforce the center. And here's my long Yari Ashigaru, and then out here in the woods I have hidden the infamous Patchy's Pain Train. This unit's got some pretty darn mean statistics, as you can see there. So 29 attack, and I still have one more clan token upgrade I can give his attack if I feel like it. So yeah, he's got some pretty sick statistics. I like that unit. It's one of my favorites. And then I've got my Waka Raider out here moving on the Morale Shrine, so they're going to move up. My opponent's brought a huge army. He's got a unit of Fire Cav and Naginata Monk Cav over here, both with pretty good stats. This one doesn't have Warcry, but it's got some definite upgrades. Its Fire Cav's looking good. Over here he's got a Bow Cav with, doesn't look like it has any upgrades. And then he's got a Naginata Warrior Monk Cav with similar upgrades as to the other one. Neither one of his has Warcry though, or a bonus versus cavalry increase, so not really the best choice in my opinion. But it is more versatile than Yari Cav, so it'll be decent in a Cav fight and decent against infantry. So my opponent brought also a couple of matchlock units. I believe he has 2. His unit flags are set up to where it's kind of hard to tell what unit's what. A lot of people do that and they think it's pretty clever or sneaky or whatever, but it doesn't really matter because I can just mouse over and see what your unit is right away. So it's not that big a deal. But a lot of people do that because they think that it's just like entirely clever and sneaky on their part. So he's got 3 matchlock units, or no he doesn't. Yeah, just 2. So he's got 2 matchlock samurai, and it doesn't look like either one of them are upgraded, so they're about the same as mine. He's got some Nagi attendants across the front. Let's check out his infantry. Nagi Warrior Monk, Nagi Warrior Monk, Nagi Warrior Monk. All of these have pretty good stats. Nodachi Samurai with not so great stats, and then Nodachi with good stats. Looks like his general is a melee leadership mix, just like Patchy. So my opponent has a Cav superiority. Yeah, for the most part. Well, not really. Yeah, numerically he does because he has the bow Cav, but qualitatively speaking in melee, my Cav is just as good as his, I guess. And my infantry is not, well, I mean, I don't know, my infantry's about on par with his. Yeah, I don't know, my opponent's Nagi Warrior Monks probably cost him the most money, and I kind of think that was a bad choice on his part, because then it kind of gives me an advantage in several departments. So my infantry is just as equal to his. And if you look at his Warrior Monks, they have like 15 morale. My Nagi Samurai have 16 morale, just because of their upgrades and stuff. So his Warrior Monks don't even have better morale in the end. So my Waka Raiders finish their task. They capture the shrine. Now I want you to take notice of something here. So once again, I'm using my sniping bow monk. Yeah, I ran into this forest real quick and hit it, so that my opponent now won't know where it is or be able to return fire to it. Again, I have to keep it in the woods. I'm going to use the range of that monk to start ripping into my opponent's units. And then if you'll notice, I've positioned my matchlock samurai nicely on this hill where they can fire over the heads of my men into a melee blob. So that's going to give me an extremely superior firing position. And with my sniping bow monk, I'm going to be able to draw my opponent in. So right now, again, my opponent cannot see these archers. All he's seeing is arrows flying out of the woods and killing his matchlock samurai. So I'm going to go ahead and push play and let you watch this. So he's running back, obviously determined that, I've got some kind of bows in the woods firing, but he can't see them. And since he can't see them, his bow cav are too close. So as soon as his matchlocks move back, I open up on his bow cav and just start really slaughtering these guys. And I'm just not sure at this point what my opponent, he's just not really sure what to do, it almost looks like. So my bow monks are going to make short work of this this bow cav. And then there's my matchlocks opening up from their position on the hill. I'll let you watch this exchange here. This will actually be kind of cool. Let me see if I can get the right view of it, maybe from back here. Yeah, this will be kind of an interesting view. So you're going to see his units charging up. You'll see my my matchlocks firing, and then my infantry is going to charge down the hill. That's a pretty epic view, actually. Look, some of his monks are already wavering just because they got hammered by matchlock fire. And my opponent really just charged forward because he didn't know what the crap was happening with those bows, so it kind of freaked him out and he charged forward. Over here, my Patchy's Pain Train ambushes this fire cav, so the fire cav doesn't get a charge, and Patchy's Pain Train just wrecks this fire cav. Check that out. So that's a katana cav wrecking a unit that's very good against cav. So eventually that fight will start to turn around just because the bonus versus cav, but then my Yari cav come in to support also. So that was pretty sweet. I actually used a katana cav successfully against a fire cav. Over here I caught his cav, and I've killed it as well. My matchlocks are firing without, any retribution whatsoever. I've chased off his bow cav, and now I'm going to target his general with my sniping bow monk, and I just killed 4 units in the general's unit. My opponent's troops are in complete disarray. The only spot where his melee is even partway successful is right here, but my men have the downhill advantage versus his. He's going to reinforce here, and he's going to bring up even more troops to reinforce. So my opponent's committing heavily right here, but my troops are chasing his out. There's my Wako Raiders engaging his Nodachi Samurai in a bloody, bloody battle. But you can see that my men are pushing his back and easily winning this fight. Man, some pretty sweet graphics. I forgot how good the graphics are on Shogun 2 when you're close up. Pretty really sweet. Yep. So my strategy worked out. My matchlocks decimated his troops from the hill. My cavalry won their fights. And yeah, it all went really well. Now, my bow warrior monks didn't get all that many kills, just because most of the time they were firing at his bow cav and his general. But they caused his whole army to charge forward and end up getting thwacked by my matchlocks that were in a superior position. Hope you enjoyed that one. I do have the results screen. I'll pop it up for you. So hope this gives you an interesting introduction to my my little sniping bow monks. They're kind of a pet project that I'm working on for now. I can't really sit here and tell you that it was an amazing investment at this point because I'm still in the testing phase of it. And there are some, as much as I love the advantages and what you saw them do right there, being able to attack basically with impunity, there are drawbacks. And the drawback is you have to know on which map to use it because you do have to have some type of cover for them to hide in. Yeah, and they are very expensive too. It costs about 1,500 koku. So you have to use them properly or else it'll end up being a big waste. Hope you enjoyed these. I hope it gives you a little bit of insight into some different unit upgrades you can try. I'm pretty sure that whenever Fall of the Samurai comes out, my sniping bow monks will be worthless under the hail of bullets. I'm not sure what to think of Fall of the Samurai. I'm going to give it a chance. I'm a little skeptical, to be honest, but I'm going to give it a chance because CA proved me wrong with Shogun 2, and I really like this game. They do have it finally balanced for the most part. There's a few bugs they need to fix, but for the most part they have this game in really good shape. So I'm really hoping that Fall of the Samurai doesn't change that. And I've been told that you can filter out in the multiplayer whether you want to play someone with the Fall of Samurai expansion or not, and that would be cool. So if that's the case, the naval battles do look awesome. Yes, I'll be getting it, and I will show you some. I'll give you a little bit of campaign footage. I'll give you a little bit of online footage. So I will be reviewing the Fall of the Samurai game for you, and I'm trying to have high hopes for it, even though I'm a little worried. But I'm gonna try and think on the optimistic side here, and hope that it's gonna be good. But we'll see what happens. So anyway, yes, I will be bringing you Fall of the Samurai footage. Hope you enjoyed these. Eric Carthage signing off for now. Alright, let's take a look at this results screen real quick. See my long Yari Ashigari cleaned up. One of my Yari Cav cleaned house. Naginata Samurai did good. My Matchlock Samurai both did good. Naginata Attendants, one of them cleaned house too. I'm not really exactly sure how they did it. If you look at my my bow monks, they really didn't get like a huge number of kills, but they killed that bow cab without him really knowing what was going on, because he didn't really know they were there. I'm guessing he probably didn't pay like a whole ton of attention to that. Look, Patchy's Pain Train got this many kills versus other cavalry too, just to give you an idea of how high his attack is. Anyway, pretty interesting battle there. Quite a bit going on. Hope you enjoyed that. So yeah, these two battles just to demonstrate what I think so far of my bow monk with the sniping ability. I think I'm going to change the name of it though eventually. But if you have any cool suggestions for the name on the bow monk with the sniping ability, let me know. I'm not guaranteeing that I'll use it, but if I get a cool one, then by all means, I will. Anyway, talk to you later, YouTube.